The reasons why Kobe Bryant should be ranked higher on the all-time greats list. Kobe Bryant will be forever known as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. However, not everybody gives him the recognition he deserves and places him far lower than where you would expect him to land on an all-time greats list. Here, we are going to talk about why Kobe deserves to be incredibly high up in these rankings, and for reasons that you probably haven't thought about yet. See, if you've seen Kobe play basketball, you would know all about his ridiculous scoring and playmaking on the basketball court. In particular, his ability to get the ball in the basket when his team needs him the most. That is exactly why he will forever go down as one of, if not the most clutch basketball player in league history. Throughout his career, he was able to knock down a ridiculous 802 clutch field goals. Simply put, if the Los Angeles Lakers needed a big-time shot later on in a game, the ball went straight to Kobe Bryant. In playoffs games, when there was under 2 minutes left in a one-possession ball game, Kobe took off. He made 40 out of his 96 shots during these moments and had a true shooting percentage of 58% in that stretch. Even if you stretch that out a little wider to NBA Finals games that are in the final 5 minutes with a margin of 5, Kobe knocked down 46% of his attempted shots. When LeBron signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, he had a shooting percentage of 32% in those same situations. A good reason why he was able to have so much clutch time success in the NBA was because of his determination to win ball games. Some could even say that he had an unhealthy addiction to winning basketball games, kind of like the great Michael Jordan did. His dedication to helping his team win helped start the whole Mamba mentality thing and made fans across the world fall in love with him. Of course, his determination and clutch time scoring doesn't always help him jump up the all-time rankings. Those rankings can be determined based on stats such as points per game and the number of championships won. The problem is that Kobe excelled in areas off the stat sheet, as we are already proving. If you still aren't convinced that Kobe should be ranked very high up on the all-time greats list, let's talk about his swagger and heart. His heart in particular was always on display on the basketball court. Kobe shared a story about the time he moved to the United States after living in Italy. He said, "I didn't know anybody. I was very awkward, skinny looking, and never spoke. I sat at the lunch table all by myself, no friends. I was upset that I had moved, and I had all this resentment and anger inside of me that I hadn't really let out." Bryant continued by saying that his English wasn't great at the time, and he simply needed a method to let his emotions out. Hence, why he turned to basketball and why he played with so much passion and emotion each time he stepped out there. Since he was very young, Kobe let everything he had out on the court, and it showed in the things he was able to do. The swagger wound up coming later in the league and was most notable when Matt Barnes attempted to make him flinch during an inbounds pass. He faked the pass right to his face from mere inches away, and Kobe didn't even budge. In fact, I don't even know if he acknowledged Barnes at all at that moment. Many believe that it's one of the coldest moments in league history and couldn't be a better example of his on-court swagger. When you combine that swagger with the emotion he played with, it's hard to push him further down the rankings even if his numbers are slightly under a few other guys. Another reason why he should be ranked higher is because he was never afraid. I don't just mean that he was unafraid of big-time shots or moments, but of other players. During the time that Kobe played, there was a ton of talented players sharing the court with him, including Michael Jordan. And yet, Kobe never feared any of them, and instead made it his mission to outplay them. This was especially the goal when he went up against Jordan, because many claim that Kobe was the next MJ early on in his career. The two battled it out consistently, but Kobe didn't take a single matchup for granted. He attacked him relentlessly and made it his goal to savor every moment across from him. Kobe wanted to beat him every chance he got, but he also took that time to learn from one of the greatest ball players in history. There hasn't been that many players in NBA history that have taken so many individual matchups against Michael Jordan. It's actually likely that people opted to stay away from Jordan on the court due to what he might do to them. However, Kobe was different, and it showed. Kobe had only scored in single digits during the first two matchups with Jordan, both of which were won by the Chicago Bulls. In the third game, Bryant didn't want to lose again. He asked Jordan about his jump shot and then started to take it right at him throughout the game. He wound up dropping 33 points off the bench, but Jordan scored 36 and led the Bulls to a victory. Kobe might not have won, but there weren't a lot of guys who were able to take on Jordan and put up that type of game. After this specific game, Jordan told the media this afterwards. "I had that same type of vibrancy when I was young. It's exciting to watch wits against physical skills, knowing that I've been around the game long enough that if I have to guard a Kobe Bryant, I can still hold my own." A little later on in the season, Kobe was asked about savoring the matchups, to which he responded by saying, "I wasn't scared or nervous back then when I played Jordan. I let him know that I'm not like all those other guys he played against." Again, when was the last time you heard somebody openly speak about not being afraid of Jordan like Kobe did, and still find a way to play up to his level in many of their big-time matchups? Doing what Kobe did against Jordan should give you further proof that he deserves a higher ranking in the all-time greats list. The guy was putting up buckets against somebody who is either the best or second best basketball player in league history in the eyes of almost every fan worldwide. The final reason that Kobe deserves to be ranked higher up on the all-time greats list is because of the job he did with the USA Redeem team at the Olympics. Some background on this particular year was that the men's basketball team at the Olympics had historically dominated the competition but had surprisingly lost out on a gold medal in the previous tournament. This time around, Kobe knew that he had to get his team back on track, but he wasn't given the greatest team ever to play. Instead, he had a good handful of youngsters that he needed to get on track. Players like Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James were all on the roster, but were incredibly young at the time. This was one of their first experiences of training for the Olympics, so all three of them went out to party before camp started. That was when they noticed Kobe waking up at 5 in the morning to head down to practice. He was the first to show up and the last one to leave. Just him doing this inspired the rest of them to follow in his footsteps and get onto the same exact schedule. By the time the Olympics finally came around, this team didn't lose a single game together and easily ran up to win the gold medal. Had he not gotten his team prepared with his lead-by-example mentality, they might have partied a little too hard and flamed out early again. Luckily, he was there to stop that from happening, and it's another story that can easily be forgotten about when thinking about all-time rankings. Oh, and we can't forget to mention that Kobe Bryant played in 36 games for the United States during the Olympics. Out of those 36 games that he played, he didn't lose a single one of them. When it came to international ball, Kobe didn't lose. Those stats and win percentages might not track down into his NBA numbers, but they can't be forgotten about in any way. So, even if you don't believe that Kobe Bryant is the greatest player to ever hit the court, you can't say that he belongs to be outside of the top 10 all-time greats list. It's hard to argue that he should even be towards the bottom half of that list either. That's just how great he was. Tell us where you think Kobe should be ranked in the comments section, and if you want to see more of these types of videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.